Y'all listen up as I narrate the Vector's tale. A man from afar riding the temporal gale. Ronin by name and a Ronin by fate. In the tapestry of time he's got a date. He ain't just saving, he's exploring the rift. In the timelines he travels, he's given a lift. Seeking tech and secrets in a world that's gone astray. Ronin's the man who's gonna find a way. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms where few dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. Future so bright to our present so bleak. He's the silent watcher, the tech he does seek. Not just a savior, but a seeker of lore. Ronin's the key to what we're looking for. Through the ruins and the relics, he's making his mark. A beacon of hope in the timeline so dark. With every secret he finds, every piece he retrieves. Crafting a future nobody believes. Ronin Vector, with a vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin Vector, forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legends inscribed. Ronin Vector, the man who defied. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms where few dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. Ronin Vector, with a vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin Vector, forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legends inscribed. Ronin Vector, the man who defied.
Hello and welcome! My name is Ronin Vector. If you couldn't tell by the song, I'm here to explore your timeline. And today, I went through all the trouble to make this game work. I figured it out. It's looking as better than ever, in my opinion. So today we're here, and oh, hey, bravo! Yes, that's an AI's interpretation of me. That screen there you saw. I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, I'm missing the widow's peak and the Vegeta type hair, but we'll get there. My eyes do glow red occasionally, though, believe it or not. So, but we are getting back into Final Fantasy XIV on the line. Let's see, what level am I? I am level 26, and because I've already destroyed all the side quests here, I've been stuck grinding these fates. So The plan is I'm gonna check out Ulda, the other kind of like starting area, because I think maybe I left all those quests alone. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we'll find out. I mean, so it just cost me a little bit of gil to get there. So I'm hoping there'll be some side quests here that I didn't knock out, since I think by the time I got to that place, I was a higher level. I think. Let's see. Let's get a little mood music before I get started with any comic book shenanigans. Let's see, I'm thinking this is kind of a deserty area. See what's cooking. Oh yeah, I think we got some stuff here. Kinda. Shit, these are really low. Oh, I could always check out the neighboring areas. There's gotta be something level appropriate for me around here. Check out my streams real quick. YouTube looks good. It's looking good. Which is looking good. Alright. AI. I used Copilot to help me write the lyrics, and then I used Sumo to generate the music and the spoken word there. Let's try this area. It's having a little bit of trouble there. Alright, what kind of quest action do we have here? Level 7, so not great. This way? It works really well. You can generate 10 songs a day using Sumo. I think it's called Sumo. Yeah, I was surprised how well it worked. I thought I was going to have to hire out for that, so... Yeah, my producer put it together in like 2 seconds. It's amazing. Level 31, so we're getting closer. I guess if we go over this away, we'll be much better off. Right on. How have you been doing with it? I'm sure you're doing much better without me hold-handing me. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're gonna go this way. Yeah, so we'll start up with these quests here, since it's pretty close to my level. And then hopefully that'll let me level up faster. I'll knock out some of these fates scattered about. Nice. do make for a good coach. You gotta start like a PUBG after school program or something. Teach those youngins the way. Greetings and welcome to Little Amiga. My name is Esmond and I represent the Adventurers Guild. The people here need any and all help that happens their way. Have you come to lend a hand? If so, you must first undertake a trial levy quest to prove yourself capable of surviving the many terrors of Thanalan. This task should serve as an adequate test. What say you, adventurer? Alright. It has come to our attention that the Corpse Brigade may have acquired a copy of the Necrologus, thought to contain pages on the deadly void scent known as Bodo Riga. I'm sure I said it right. Display. What do you mean, display? The Corpse Brigade will only use this knowledge to further their nefarious schemes, so it is imperative that this book is retrieved, its pages destroyed, and the creature trapped within sent back to the furthest reaches of the void. Easy enough, I guess. Be warned that the void scent will tear free of its prison once all the pages have been assembled. Prepare yourself well. Ain't afraid of no beast. Alright. Ah, okay, yeah, those are cool. You know what, I've been looking at getting some of those for the little tent I live in, the garage. I guess I couldn't use them on the time, but still, I could put them around the place I hang out. Yeah, so do you already have a few already? So I've been looking at them forever. Annabelle of the Immortal Flames has a task for a stalwart adventurer. That's me. Stalwartiest of them all. Adventurer, I would have your ear. Have you perchance visited the ruins south of here? It is said that they date back to the era of the Baldinians. As a student of history, I was delighted when my superior sent me there on patrol. My delight soon turned to dread, however, when I discovered the terrible truth. These ruins are haunted. Yes, you heard me right. Specters of Baldia haunt this place to this day, and my limited training has hardly prepared me to face such horrors. Would you be so obliging to take this holy water and shepherd the lost souls to Thal's realm? Alright, exorcism. Oh, cool. I'm guessing you must have at least one cyberpunk-related play. Yeah, fix my shit. Some good music to this. All the quests? That can't be it. put me to sleep. Let's see, some guy named Remthing. Remthing needs your aid in disposing some brigands. Perhaps you've heard of the Corpse Brigade, a nasty band of brigands that's been terrorizing these parts of late. Smuggling, thievery, cold-blooded murder of innocents. If you see any signs of foul play in these parts, like as not the corpses are behind it. I'd like nothing more than to march into their hideout to the northeast and teach them a lesson. I know when I'm outmatched. Normally I'd hesitate to trust the task to an outsider, but you seem a capable sort. What say you teach these scrufflaws a lesson? Sure, I'm gonna kill him. See what this shorty wants. Oh boy. Hira? Sure. Hira would seek your help in her attempt to provide aid to the refugees.
Friend, hear my plea. As you have no doubt observed, many poor souls in this camp suffer from afflictions most grievous. Indeed, it is to deliver them succor I have made this journey here from Ul'dah. And yet, I fear my efforts have been for naught. The residents are most distrustful of outsiders, particularly those hailed from Ul'dah. They look upon my medicine as if it were poison. Were an adventurer such as yourself to deliver the elixir, perhaps they would be willing to accept it. I have no one else to turn to. Will you go in my stead?
I hope if you get into this game someday, Bravo, you're one of these little shorties. Burrow. Me throat. It burns. Oh, here's your tonic. Medicine, you say? I'd sooner drink sandworm piss than this Ul'dah swill. Alright. I guess just die then. See what Amlot? I'm gonna call her Amlot. Amlot needs something and needs it now. Adventurer, I fear I've no time for pleasantries, but I would be much in your debt if you could perform for me a simple task. To wit, I need you to slay a rockskin's Pisset, and obtain for me a secretion of its poison. If you've seen one of those fearsome reptiles, as I reckon you have, you would know that their scales are as hard as solid stone. This acid I give you, however, will cut right through it. I haven't much, so pray use it well. Some of my countrymen are not quick to trust outsiders, but I've no time to entertain foolish prejudices. This is a matter of life and death. You sat on my pet, bitch. What is it, outsider? Come to mock us in our suffering? Go ahead and laugh. Laugh to your heart's content. Fucking hell, just take your tonic. Don't be a little bitch. That's what I think of you outsiders and your medicine. I'd rather die with dignity than owe my life to Ul'dah. getting the feeling they're not going to take the medicine. Okay, Outland, take your medicine. Oops, what did he say? Shit. Okay, there it is. I can't breathe, he says. Alright, take this. Ha! Another phony elixir cooked up by those Uldan quacks. Be gone from my sight. I joined a guild with my friend at random, Albed, but I'm probably not going to stay in it. I was pretty drunk when I joined, so... I believe they're named after the gang or people in Final Fantasy X, Albeds. They were into technology and shit. Machinas, as they said. Final Fantasy X was good. I liked it. No luck, I see. Take heart, friend. You did what you could. Age-old wounds are not healed so easily, but I must not give up the cause. Dehydration. What else you got for me, Shorty? Aira wonders if there might be another remedy that the refugees might accept. After giving the matter some thought, it has struck me that perhaps it is not me that the refugees so distress, but rather the medicine itself. The Alamaigans are wary of outsiders. This is true, yet I suspect it is the thought of ingesting an alchemical concoction of Ulda Yet I suspect it is the thought of ingesting an alchemical concoction of Uldan that frightens them most of all. A naive girl's wishful thinking, perhaps, but it is the only hope I have. There is a kindly old refugee by the name of Althan, the only one thus far to accept my treatment. Might you speak with him and ask if there's any truth to my theory? Yeah, it kind of sounds like a terrorist organization. I probably will make my own guild at some point, but I want to wait until I remember how to play the game before I start sucking people into my stupidity. Hail there, young one. What brings one as hale and hearty as yeself to this god-forsaken place? Ah, Haira. In my years I've seen many outsiders come and go, but none quite like that girl. I don't begrudge me countrymen their judgments, of course. Gods know they've seen Ulda at its worst. But it's clear, even to me, clouded old eyes, that the girl means well, and I can't bring myself to scorn her good intentions. But forgive me, you were asking about medicine, were ye not? We Almaigans aren't much for alchemy, but we've got our fair share of remedies passed down through the years. Steep the fruit of a sabo tender in hot water, for instance, and you'll get tea that'll soothe the worst of fevers. Call it an old man's hunch, but I have a feeling that even the most stubborn Omi countrymen would be gladly down a cup of cactus tea, even if it were the Uldan lass who did the brewing. I gotta go out into the water. Yeah. Die, clown. Forgot that they could do that. $300. Oh my god, I'm way back here. Fuck me. That's cruel. What do you plan on getting? There, Bravo. Alright, let's try this shit again. Not this time, bitch. Yeah, I like Final Fantasy 14. I think it's worth it. I guess I'll help that out. Yeah, I mean, Helldivers 2, Final Fantasy 14, definitely can't go wrong with those. I definitely recommend getting, like, whatever the collector's edition version of Helldivers, because it comes with the first Warbomb. It's got good stuff in it. Was that? Oh, it's that painting class. Helldivers? No, because they're both online, so you run the risk of getting your account banned if you try to use stuff. The closest thing you can come to is a reshade, like, you know, thing that does post-processing effects. I mean, you might be able to. I'm not sure about it. I'm pretty sure that it's probably not even worth the risk. Because there really is no, like, offline mode for either of these games. I mean, you could always keep a poster near the, your monitor. Just every time you get lonely, you just start looking at that. You're like, oh yeah, bath mommy. A traditional Almegan remedy made from steeping the fruit of the sabatender in hot water. Why, I had no idea. I owe Alphen my gratitude. Jesus. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3 cups of cactus tea. Oh, I do hope I've not overbrewed this tea. Please, friend, deliver this tea to the suffering refugees. Me throat. You again. I told you I'd sooner drink. Hey, what are you doing? Look at this, it actually has a description. To make cactus tea, the sabu tender fruit is dried, ground into a fine powder, then left to sit a full night under Menthina's gaze to frighten away the spirit of the sabatender that dwelled inside the seeds. She did not do that. That's a lie. The powder is then added to boiling water and stirred until a foam forms upon the water's surface. The foam is given to break fever. The remaining liquid discarded under a rock founded to the north of the patient. That's fine. So it's just the foam you need. Is that cactus tea I smell? Well, stop dawdling and hand it over. Can't you see I'm suffering here? God, dickhead. What do you mean? The people I'm talking to? That little chick? I'm actually not sure the name of the race is. Let's see. What's the race of the little people and the Lalafell. In Final Fantasy XIV, the race of little people is known as the Lalafell. They are characterized by their diminutive stature and youthful, childlike appearance. The Lalafell are divided into 2 clans, the Plainsfolk and the Dunesfolk. Despite their small size, they are just as capable in combat as the other races and are known for their cheerful attitudes. There you go. Straight from the AI's mouth. I'll go to the grave before I'm galled by Ul'dahn quackery. Old Outland's recipe, no doubt. I'll drink it, but if the Ul'dahn girl thinks a cup of tea can heal years of suffering, she'd best think again. You could tell that Edon wench that I'll have none of her foul alchemy. Cactus tea. And just like my dear mom used to brew it. I don't know where you came by this, but you're a godsend. Yeah, no, I'm pretty great.
drank it. Oh, how I've waited for this day. Even I'm not so foolish to think that I have earned the trust of all the refugees. But on the long road to peace and understanding, even the smallest step matters. Alright, good luck with that. I'm not gonna be able to kill this guy. I'm not above a good flee. I mean, it's not... I'm not running away, it's a tactical retreat. Yes. Too old for this too? God damn, this is not my day. Guy seems to be really into sitting around me. Hey, happy dawn trails to ya. Maybe. This guy wants to help.
that's it. Oh, fuck. Make a difference. Close. Oh yeah, I can use acid. I really need to make this text bigger. I barely see it. That's not gonna help me. That's cool. We'll stick with dark. Let's see if we can find. There's one. Let's see if I can do it right this time. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah. Some skin. Just two bras. Riding around. WSs. I don't know what that means. Thank you, outsider. Your victory is already the talk of the town. That may not mark the end of the Corpse Brigade, but at least they know that we're not afraid to fight back. And to think these men and women were once my countrymen. Do they know no shame? Back in the heyday of Almega, the Corpse Brigade served our nation with pride and honor. It saddens me to see what they have become, but I would slay them down to the last if it would ensure that they besmirch our known man's name no more. Trash. You return, adventurer. Have you brought me the poison I see? On behalf of my countrymen, you have my thanks. Forgive me in my brusqueness before. Our skirmishes with the Corpse Brigade have taken a great toll on us of late. They employ poisons more lethal, and our antidote stores were running low. I must attend to my potion brewing, but thank you, outsider. Because of you, the men and women of the Resistance will live to fight another day. Thank you for your kindness, outsider. I would ask you to help our suffering people once more. A most deathly strain of fever runs rampant in Middle Omega of late, and while I have succeeded in isolating the cause, I am powerless to remedy it. The fever is borne by an elusive breed of wasp, you see, and only by exterminating the pest may we put an end to this epidemic. It would seem that the wasps are drawn to the pungent scent of rotting carrion. Douse this cactus piss over the carcasses of some unfortunate creatures, and they should quickly swarm the scene. Inval. Thank you, friend. With the wasps gone, it was only a matter of time before the epidemic subsides. You may be an outsider, but you have brought more succor to my people in a day than I could have many a month. We are a humble people. I have not means to properly express my gratitude. It may not mean much, but know always that you have a friend in Little Alamago. Take the egg. Get out. What am I not seeing? This is so confusing. What am I not getting? Whatever. Wait a minute, these are way too, see any flaming beacons out there. and arson. Fire can be fun. Bitch. Can't turn it in until I'm a higher level. That's much different. You could be a space arsonist. What about that? Because in space, fire can hear you scream. Yeah, these are much better. What if I go more north? I guess there are some quests here that are my wheelhouse. The Usi of Camp Drybone needs someone to fetch some Mitragus sirloins. Are you come to grieve, sir? Have you lost someone dear? I see
is simply another fair adventurer come to our outpost. Well, in that case, I've an adventure for you. What say you make for the plains to the east and carve me up 5 cuts of sirloin from my tragus nannies? We're tending a wounded man at the inn who is close to death. We would like nothing more than to give him a feast of nice, juicy Targus sirloins for what might be his last meal. Once you have the sirloins, take them directly to Sister Zozaru at the inn. Is that a nice thing, I suppose? Have to get rid of some quests. Let's see. Looking for a bit of work, are we? Well, it just so happens I'm looking for someone to put down some mongrels. 7 of the beasts. The bloody things have nearly overrun the area southeast of here. They attack the locals' livestock that moves. You needn't show the foul things mercy. Good morning to you, adventurer. I am Papanagu, representative of the Adventurers Guild. I have a number of fine guild levies in my possession which I will gladly allow you to undertake, if you prove yourself sufficiently capable, that is. You see, protocol dictates that I administer a trial guild levy. Until you complete it, I can grant you no more. How about this task? Review the details and tell me if you're up for the challenge. Kill some goblins, got it. Very good. You merely beckon to the gullible goblin, Gutrick Silverpix, to help him lead to his destination. Use beckon emote to lead Gutter Silverpix safely to the destination. You may find it convenient to add the emote to your hotbar for the beginning of the guild level. Orange. I don't get these fucking guild levies at all. Oh, these are the things I need to get sirloin from. Alright, I think I'm ready to start watching get some stories in here.
Today on the Comic Story in Full Story, we're going to be covering the 4 parts of Deceased that exist as of today. This is the Comic Story channel where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites. I give you a synopsis of what's going on in the world of comic books so you understand the storylines and are able to keep up. You can still go out and buy book for more context, or you can get the next chapters of the series to understand what is going on in that particular series. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today we're going to be doing the 4 existing parts of the Deceased storyline. Now this is the storyline in which the superheroes of DC Universe get turned into zombie-like creatures with their own superpowers. The series currently consists of Deceased 1, Deceased Hope at World's End, Deceased Unkillables, and Deceased 2, which does leave us on a cliffhanger, but as of the time of recording this, we have no more. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into this massive full story of like 3 years of content right here at this channel. Thunder echoes as blow after blow falls on Darkseid's face, the final punch breaking his jaw, and the Kryptonian steps back. Wonder Woman tightens her hold on the lasso of truth, which finds itself wrapped around Darkseid's throat. The invasion lasted a week, with the entirety of the Justice League mobilized to stop it. You will leave Earth now, Darkseid, Superman tells the god, glaring at him, and Batman steps forward. You will not return to our world. Say it, Wonder Woman snarls, tightening her hold. The lasso compels you. Darkseid stands, his wounds seemingly having no effect on him. He tugs free of the lasso, turning to an opening to boom.
Wonder Woman's kind of the original Dominator, isn't she?
For I have no need. The truth is, I have what I came for. The cosmic being tells them as he steps through the portal, disappearing.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm crazy.
Left them miss. You know, I thought that was going really well, up until that ominous last sentence. Green Arrow quips, slackening the arrow on his bowstring, when suddenly a device on Batman's utility belt begins to chime, bringing everyone's attention to him. Cyborg's missing, he states simply. He's not in Metropolis. He's not on Earth. The group doesn't understand how Batman would know that, but he simply tells them that he has a tracker monitoring Cyborg's every movement. He's a walking weapon with Apocalypse technology running through his body and brain, which we barely scratch the surface of understanding. It would be irresponsible to let that kind of unknown power move freely. The team all stare at Batman as Superman finally asks the question. Did Vic know you were tracking him? Batman's silence is answer enough, and anger courses through the Flash as he's suddenly whirling around asking questions. Do you have a tracker on Superman? He finally asks.
Batman is psychotic, but he's a correct psychotic.
Sighs of exasperation fill the team. Anyone concerned about the slight pause there? Green Arrow asks. The team puts aside the question of the morality of Batman's decision for a moment. They need to find Vic. On Apocalypse, Darkseid finishes pushing the final stake through Cyborg's limbs, pinning him to a table like an insect. He smiles a toothy grin, questioning Vic on whether he knows of the anti-life equation. He smiles, explaining that it is the end of all free will, that whoever controls the anti-life equation will dominate all sentient races. Darkseid continues to preach, ignoring Cyborg's sarcastic comments, when finally he tells Vic that Darkseid has found the final half of the anti-life equation in you. The god states as he steps out of the shadows. Cyborg stares at the massive villain, raising one eyebrow. Were you waiting in the corridor to make a good entrance? He asks with a slight smile. The Dark Ruler stares at him for a moment before ordering Darkseid to take his tongue. With a cackle of glee, the torturer sets about his grim task. Darkseid then asks Darkseid if he's ready to begin, and the evil minion informs him that if Cyborg is killed by the merging process, then the anti-life equation will be lost. Darkseid nods. We must control Victor Stone's end, he states, pulling free his mother box. I will summon death. Summoned.
Lost my place here. Fuck. Where is it? Oh yeah, Ben. So, let's see. So Thunderland is plagued by 7 fewer mongrels, is it? Excellent. I've lost my pack of mongrel, or I've lost my love to a pack of mongrels 3 years past. We were to be wed. They tore him apart. When we finally chased them off, my love was in 7 pieces. Since then, I've asked every adventurer I see pass through here to slay 7 of the beasts. My vengeance is unceasing, but if I can spare just one bride-to-be the suffering I have known, then it will have all been worth it. Good for you.
It's you again. What impeccable timing. Oh, you needn't worry. I'm not going to ask you to put down any more mongrels on my dead fiancé's behalf. My fiancé is survived by a brother, though. He puts up at the Golden Bazaar, and he's asked that I bring him a load of tuco meat. I'd see to it myself, but as you well know, I must stay here to send adventurers on mongrel hunts until every last one of the bloody beasts in Eorzea is dead. Jesus. She knows they're animals, right? I suppose what I'm trying to say is, would you care to fell some tucos and obtain 5 chunks of their meat? Let's have it up. Ooh. Please deliver them to my late fiancé's brother, Beniger, at the Golden Bazaar. Seems easy enough. Get these green circles. It doesn't mean anything to me. It means nothing.
The Black Racer suddenly appears in the room, with Darkseid reaching out, grasping the deity by the throat. I have need of you, he growls. Desaid moves forward, using his technology to steal a piece of death. The energy merging with Victor Stone, he begins to chant the anti-life equation. But the use of death corrupts that which is already corrupted in nature. Darkseid can suddenly feel it, scratching at the inside of his mind. And he screams, his fingers clawing at his face. Desaid looks on in fear, and the Black Racer watches with the passivity of death. It is time for God to die, he intones hollowly. Desaid turns. While immune to the disease, he knows that he must send Cyborg away before all of Apocalypse falls to this. The boom tube opens, and suddenly, the hero is gone. But it was too late. Darkseid lashes out, and the Black Racer falls. He leaps upward, destroying the city in his wake, and finally, he falls into one of the fiery pits, plummeting to the very core of Apocalypse itself. The planet shudders before it explodes, killing all of those that call Apocalypse its home. On Earth, the tube opens, and Victor falls into the streets of Metropolis. He can feel the disease course through him, and he tries to wall it off, yet he is not quick enough. His bloody mouth with no tongue opens to warn those around him. Some try to help, while others are merely taking pictures in their ever-present smartphones. Merging with Victor, though, the equation has become digital, leaping quickly into the internet. From there, it infects all of those that it comes in contact with. Those that surround Vic suddenly become frightened, their fingers clawing at the flesh of their own bodies as they try to scratch free the disease that has overtaken them. But the fear disappears and the infection spreads. Victor watches as the frightened turn to rage, and they begin to lash out at those around them. Meanwhile, in the home of Scott-Free and Big Barda, Superman questions his allies about whether they can help him save Victor. Mid-conversation, though, he stops, his super hearing picking up the disturbance in the city. Can you hear that? He asks before leaping through the window. Superman looks below the city. The world is screaming. The people fight and they kill below him. Blood flowing from their eyes, their ears, their mouth. Fear fills Superman's eyes as he turns towards home. John, Lois. In their apartment, Lois is looking for her phone when John and Damian play a video game. Damian, where is it? John asks, looking away from the screen. You have X-ray vision, Damian responds. That's actually a good point. He finds the phone on the other side of the room and he begins to reach out for it. But a blast of Superman's heat vision takes it out, and the Man of Steel turns, blasting the TV as well. Don't look at the screens, he orders them. No screens. But in the Batcave, Batman finishes firewalling the Batcave.
My name is Kyrie, but you can call me Sergeant Kyrie. It is my duty to issue company levies, and you do them, and you tell them I do a right fine job of it if anyone asks. I don't understand.
And he orders the computer to swing to the analog cameras that are positioned around Gotham. He watches as his city tears itself apart. The people are barely human anymore, attacking those that are left. The Bat computer runs projections. 600 billion are infected worldwide, with the virus spreading to the rest of the internet in a matter of days. Has the connection been disabled in the house? He suddenly asks. And the computer voice informs him that it has not. Fear takes over Batman as he suddenly lurches from his chair, ordering the computer to activate the EMP in the manor. Upstairs, the house goes dark. At their apartment, Lois and Clark look out on the city in chaos. I need to assemble the League, Clark tells her. Look out there. Who knows what's left of the League, she tells him. Damian looks down at the radio in his hand, unable to reach his father. The radio is always supposed to work. Superman continues to look out on the city and he tells Damian that Batman will have contingencies in place. He'll do anything to reach Damian. I've learned to never underestimate your father, he tells him. But at the manor, Batman moves quietly through the darkened house, calling out to his family. And finally hearing Alfred yelling for him from the kitchen. He rushes through the darkness and he explodes into the room, discovering Alfred trying to hold the infected Nightwing at bay with a knife. The zombie rushes forward, with Bruce managing to knock him aside. Feebly, he tries to reason with Dick, but the young man is no longer there. Tim comes in from behind, biting hard onto Batman's arm. Alfred, run! Bruce screams as the boys that he raised begin to bite into him, their hands clawing at his flesh. Run! The first days of the outbreak saw the people of the world isolated from one another. In the middle of the North Atlantic, a ship dips in the waters, gently pushed by the waves of the ocean. And behind it, a trail of shipping containers dip below the water. Pulling himself over the side, Aquaman moves along the deck. Hello, is anyone here? He calls out, and silence is his answer. As he passes one of the bulkheads, a strange noise reaches his ears. It's all right, he calls out, reaching for the handle, pulling the door open. Help is here. But the creatures, they all turn, their eyes drawn by the sound and the movement of the door opening. Aquaman can't help it. He stares in surprise at the hold full of the dead. They rush him and the hero falls back as their bloody claws reach for his flesh. Aquaman is pushed back, tumbling over the side of the ship as the dead attack him. They drift beneath the waves until the waters are clouded. But back in Metropolis, John, aka Superboy, and Damian, aka Robin, stare out into the destruction of the world that they have known. The city is bright in the distance, lit with dozens of fires. Damian, Batman will be okay, John tells his friend. I'm not worried, John. Why not? I'm like 70% sure this is Armageddon, John tells him, glancing briefly at his stoic friend. I'm not worried, John. Behind them, Lois puts down the phone, telling Clark that her parents are okay and they're headed into the bunker. Superman nods, telling her that he needs to get to Smallville, but not before he knows that they are all safe. The planet. Head to the Daily Planet, Lois tells him with a determined look on her face. Meanwhile, over in Gotham City, I want to state for the record that I think this is a terrible idea, Harley tells Poison Ivy, readying her bat. The two stand outside a plain door in the back alley of Gotham. What record? Harley nods to the question, turning and heading away, offering to go ahead and make an official record. But Ivy stops her, vines growing from the earth wrapping around her leg. Should you be using the green like that? Harley asks. Ivy nods and smiles, letting Harley know that the vines actually enjoy crushing people. Right, well, I'll never sleep in the same room as a house plant again. Ivy steers Harley towards the door again, giving her a kiss on the cheek and tells her that she is strong enough to do this. I'll be waiting by the botanical gardens. Face your monster, she tells her. The door swings open to a dark room with weapons lining against it. Mr. J? Harley calls out in the quiet. The faint flicker of TV screens reach Harley's eyes and she crosses the room, finding the Joker sitting in front of a row of screens. I've been thinking, and I know you don't like it when I do that, she begins. I'm here to say, our life is over, she tells him. The Joker begins to turn, his eyes crazed, his face covered in blood. And outside of Metropolis, I hate camping. I don't know how you two talked me into this, Hal tells Oliver and Dinah as he holds a marshmallow over the fire near the tents.
All right,
Three
found a
friends
dungeon.
are chatting around the fire, away from all the screens, with Dinah telling Hal that they just saved the world from an invasion by Darkseid. They deserve a night away from everything. Eventually, Hal walks away from the group, letting them know that he's going to go turn in. He's on his phone, Dinah notes, seeing the gentle glow of the screen through the tent. So much for getting away from it all, Oliver agrees. And suddenly the pair are greeted by strange noises coming out of Hal's tent. The campsite is torn apart as the green hard light constructs erupt outward, throwing Oliver and Dinah away. Hal? Oliver questions from the grass. The pair can only look stunned as the Green Lantern stares at them, his eyes filled with a look of murder. Hal Jordan of Sector 2814. Lethal force is not authorized. The ring begins to chime. Oliver realizes what this means, and he yells for Dinah to move, diving away as the green tendrils suddenly shoot out of the ground, destroying the spot that they were just at. One of the tendrils nicks Dinah, and Oliver doesn't hesitate. He fires his boxing glove arrow to try and stun Hal. The trick arrow seems to have no effect, and Hal begins to float over to Dinah. Oliver nods, drawing a deadly arrow next. Jordan, I don't know what's going on with you, man, but the next thing coming at your face isn't a punch. Suddenly, the massive green teeth are launched at Oliver, and fear shines in the hero's eyes. Dinah screams with her canary cry, knocking Jordan away, breaking his concentration. But back in the city, Superman and his family land on the rooftop of the Daily Planet. Lois moves to the doors, knowing that they need to get inside so that they can start linking up with survivors and broadcasting a warning to the world. But Clark stops her, scanning the floors below them with his X-ray vision. The whole building is swarming with monsters. People we know? Lois questions. Clark bows his head in sadness as he answers. Yes. Suddenly he turns and he begins to float into the air before turning back to his family. John, do not let anything through that door before I return. I heard something. Back in the forest, Dinah stands over the body of Hal Jordan. Oliver behind him, the former hero laying still. Green Lantern of 2814 is deceased. The ring begins to chime, sliding off of Hal's finger. Scanning for replacement. Briefly, the ring turns before finally hovering in front of Dinah Lance. Dinah Lance of Earth, you have the ability to overcome great fear. Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps. The forest is filled with a bright green light as Dinah is suddenly turned into a lantern. Whoa! Oliver gasps, stunned, but Dinah looks down at herself. She doesn't want this. Take it, Clark tells her as he hovers into view. We're going to need it. The three heroes quickly make their way to the Daily Planet. We made contact, Lois tells Clark as the three heroes come in. Damian holds up his radio. It's Batman! The Dark Knight quickly begins to tell the group that these creatures are not zombies. They're consumed by hunger. They're not feeding. They're spreading death, he tells them. They're stealing life. These are the anti-living. The trigger is an equation. I always knew that math would doom us all. Oliver nods, but Batman doesn't have a lot of time. We see him standing in the Batcave, clad in one of Mr. Freeze's suits in order to slow down his infection. Behind him, Alfred stands ready, shotgun in hand. Bruce. Clark responds, sadness in his voice as he realizes what his friend is saying. But Batman tells him, there's no time for sentiment. The virus is a technological and biological hybrid. To save the world, you're going to have to destroy any human carriers and take down the internet. Oliver nods again. I always expected we'd have to destroy the internet to save the world. I just didn't know it'd be like this. Bruce, there must be something we can do for you, Dinah asks. But Batman tells them, there isn't anything. Damian, Alfred has something for you. It's something that I've always wanted to give you. Something I know that you would have earned one day. Batman says, sadness in his voice, I'm sorry that I won't see you. But the words are choked off, and Damian stares at the radio in his hand. Father, Dad. In the Batcave, Alfred watches as Batman begins to convulse, his hand reaching up, clawing at the helmet of the Mr. Freeze suit. It shatters, spilling glass around the computer. Batman turns, a crazed look filling his eyes as he stares at his butler. Computer, cease transmission, Alfred orders, racking the shotgun. I'm sorry, my son, Alfred tells Bruce as he aims the weapon. That day, the cave was filled with the sound of gunfire. After Alfred was forced to put down an infected Batman with a shotgun, he stands in the Batcave, staring down at the bodies of the three men that he thought of as his sons. My boys, he intones softly. I'm sorry I couldn't save you, he whispers. Though they can no longer hear him, Alfred hangs his head, taking the steel case that Bruce entrusted him with, and he turns to climb aboard the Batwing. The plane streaks across the sky, flying high over the undead, teeming streets of Gotham City. Alfred reaches for the controls, his eyes determined now. And with a click, he releases the bombs, something that Bruce would never have used on living targets. But the people of Gotham, they're no longer alive. The bombs fall, exploding in the streets below, sending the once human population flying, limbs ripping free in the destruction. And Harley runs as the building behind her explodes, rounding the corner and finding a survivor trying to defend himself. His shotgun goes flying as the monsters swarm him. She doesn't hesitate. She grabs a weapon and racks the flesh round in. Back off! I mean it! She yells, and the monster that was once the Joker careens down the alleyway towards her, his hands reaching out. She turns, jamming the barrel into the Joker's stomach. Mr. J, you were never any good for me, she snarls, pulling the trigger. The shotgun kicks in her hand and the blast cuts the Joker apart. His body falling to the ground and Harley Quinn staring. Shocked.
Prison put
My God, that was the most cathartic thing ever, she yells in triumph, and she turns, striding down the alleyway. But she stops when she sees two heroes drop to the ground in front of her. Oh, come on. The zombie birds of prey? She groans as Huntress, Batgirl, Batwoman, and Catwoman land, their eyes blank, their bodies covered in blood. Harley nods as the creatures reach towards her, racking the shotgun once again. Really? Okay, she sighs. I guess we're going bird hunting. But on the rooftop of the Daily Planet, Damian sits against the wall, with John coming over to talk to his friend, but the young boy isn't in the mood. So John just sits with his friend. Is the kid gonna be alright? Oliver asks. And Superman nods as he looks at the two young boys. Damian is his father's son. He'll find a way to bury it and keep on going. But he just lost his dad. Finally, Clark turns to Lois, telling her, I have to go home. I'll secure the building first. Dinah steps forward, asking Superman if he needs any help, but Clark just shakes his head. Thanks, Dinah, but I'll manage. In a blur, he's gone, moving through the building at super speed. He grabs the infected, pulling them out of the building and dropping them into the streets. After the last of the infected are deposited outside, he flies upwards, ripping free the Daily Planet globe, dropping it in front of the exit. Landing on the rooftop, he gives his family one last hug before he goes, with Damian watching from his seat. Ollie, Dinah, please keep my family safe, Clark asks his friends as he takes to the air. Of course, Dinah tells him, the newest Green Lantern. Deep below the ocean, the tide swirls against the ancient city of Atlantis. Concentrate, Garth, Mara hisses. You can do this. You can push against the tides, and if you can't, maybe you should rethink the name Tempest, she tells him. From now on, your new superhero name is going to be Mild Weather Event. But the ocean around them grows darker, and the two Atlanteans look up. It's not the setting sun that darkens their day, it's the water itself. Blood is clouding the water around them as Aquaman, turned into one of the infected hordes, fights through the warriors of Atlantis. The blood seeps down, filling the lungs of Tempest, with Mara trying to warn him. But it's too late, and Garth suddenly roars as his brain is altered by the infected blood. His fingers begin to tear at the flesh of his face as Mara watches in horror. The infected rush towards her as she looks on with fear in her eyes, and as she begins to swirl the waters, using her power, she screams out, "You will not take me!" She flees as all of Atlantis is consumed by the blood around her. But back with Superman, he flies towards Smallville. He can't help but stop and aid the survivors that he passed along the way. His breath saved a couple from the horde, and he later lifted up a school bus to safety. Along the way, he also found Black Lightning and his family, fighting an infected Clayface. The villain fell quickly, though, and Superman told the hero to head towards the Daily Planet. Finally, he arrives at his family farm. He arrives home. Martha stands in the yard, shovel in hand, as she stares at the barn door. "Where's Pa?" he asks, and his mother motions quietly to the barn before telling him he's inside. Gently, Clark opens the door, stepping inside of the cool building, and beneath his feet he can hear his father banging on the hatch to the root cellar. He reaches down, snapping the lock without any effort, and then he opens the door to reveal his father, crazed, covered in blood. The man who raised him reaches for him, thirsty for death and destruction. Clark takes his arms, sadness filling his face as he forces his father back into the cellar, and he shuts the door. His heat vision cuts through the door quickly. He steps back outside, his mother standing there in tears, crying. "It's time to go," he tells her. But she shakes her head. "We can't leave. This is our home, your father." She begins to cry as Clark lifts her in his arms. "He isn't here, Ma." He tells her as they leave the place that he grew up. "He isn't here." The streets of Washington, D.C. are bright with fire and destruction. Deep below the earth, Captain Atom stands in the Cadmus headquarters, looking at the dead body of an infected woman. "Any word?" Amanda Waller asks behind him. Atom shakes his head, telling her that Ray Palmer is still inside of the woman, trying to figure out a way to destabilize the virus from the inside. But Waller just shakes her head. They've activated Plague Protocol C. Satellite imagery has isolated the worst infected areas, and we need you to start exorcising the infection, she tells him. "I'm sorry." Captain Atom flies over the city streets, using his powers of radiation to burn the infection away. His blast cuts through the creatures that line the streets, but suddenly his eyes go wide. "Amanda, something's inside me." Within Captain Atom's body, the infected Ray Palmer continues to attack his bloodstream. His eyes are crazed, and his hands attack anything that gets close. Outside, Captain Atom screams as the infection attacks from within. Meanwhile, back at the Daily Planet, Clark finally arrives with his mother. For a brief moment, John is happy, asking about his grandfather, but Martha only begins to cry, and Lois moves in to comfort her. Briefly, the family comes together in their grief, embracing one another. But afterwards, Lois explains that they're almost ready to start broadcasting to any survivors. "I can't stop. I have to get back out there," Superman tells her in the group, but Oliver puts his hand on the Man of Steel's shoulder. "We talked about it. You can't, Superman. I understand that restraining you with my hand is entirely symbolic, and I know that you can walk straight through me." Diana steps forward, telling Clark, "It's too dangerous for you to be out there. If you saw a scream..." "I won't," Clark assures her. "I've been using my X-ray vision from the nanosecond that I worked out what was causing this," he tells her. Diana finally nods, letting Clark know that she's just gonna come with him. Lois steps up, finally broadcasting to as much of the world as they can reach. "This is Lois Lane of the Daily Planet. I know the world looks like a nightmare. If you can hear me, I know you're scared, but you are not alone." Around the world, survivors huddle in the dark rooms, pulling closer their radios. Heroes who weren't sure if they were the last ones feel a measure of hope. Villains who once planned to rule the world pause at the death and destruction before them. We are regrouping. The Justice League is gathering in Metropolis. Anyone with power or means to confront this, please come to the Daily Planet roof, if it is safe and if you are capable of doing so. Meanwhile, on Amazon Island, Mara stands before Queen Hippolyta, having actually survived. "My city is gone. My people are gone. I didn't know where else to go," she tells her. Hippolyta steps forward, reaching out an arm to the proud Queen of Atlantis. "You are welcome in Themyscira. Behind them, Wonder Woman stands listening to Lois's message, and finally she turns to her mother as she questions where she's going. Metropolis. Lois continues her message as Superman and Black Canary search for the heroes that might be able to give them more time. I've seen them, Clark tells her, using his ability to find Wally West and Barry Allen. He rips off the door to their bunker, but Barry looks at him in fear. We can't leave, Superman. Batman told us what to do. If either one of us becomes infected, it would spell disaster. I can move you safely, Dinah tells them. Barry looks at her in surprise. You're a Green Lantern now? Back in Gotham, Harley stops and turns, firing the shotgun down the alleyway. The spread rips through the zombie birds of prey, but it doesn't stop them. She racks another shell, squeezing the trigger, but the weapon clicks empty. Aw, nuts, she whispers. But the birds are suddenly thrown aside as vines wrap around them, and Poison Ivy steps forward, her vines crushing the zombies. Now that was pretty romantic, Harley tells her, taking her hand. Crushing the undead is romantic? The two head off into the city, leaving the undead behind them. Come, the green will protect us, Ivy tells her. And on the rooftop of the Daily Planet, Lois begins her message once again. But John stops her as he hears something. It sounds like thunder, he whispers. It sounds like impending doom, Oliver tells them. Trust me, I've been doing this for a long time. I have a finely tuned ear for the impending. Everyone's eyes grow big as Giganta pulls her way up the building, the giant zombie reaching for the heroes. Black Lightning and Green Arrow open fire, yelling for the others to push her back.
How...
back when suddenly missiles sail out of nowhere, exploding against the giant creature. Damian looks on shocked as the Batwing sails in, but Giganta reaches out, snagging the plane out of the sky. It begins to spiral and crash, but Dinah reaches out, plucking it from the sky with it as a reason, with her letting her know that there is still hope for saving everyone. When suddenly Giganta explodes into a shower of blood and guts. Cyborg stands there, his hand cannon smoking from the shot that blew a hole in the giant zombie's head. She wasn't alive, he tells them, and Superman looks at him shocked. None of them are. We need to talk. Up on the rooftop, Dinah gently lowers the Batwing, with Damian running over yelling for his father. But that cockpit raises, and it reveals Alfred. Damian, I'm sorry, my son. He tells the boy, sadness in his eyes.
What am I missing?
Alfred lowers the case, opening it to the boy, and inside, there's a bat suit and Batman gear awaiting its heir. He said you were worthy of it, that he was proud of you, and that he should have told you that every day. Tears begin to fill the eyes of Damian as he closes the distance between him and Alfred, and the two embrace. On the rooftop, special lenses are given to Wally and Barry to protect their eyes from accidentally looking at any screens. But Cyborg is there now, trying to explain that these creatures aren't zombies. Hey man, if it groans like a zombie and shuffles like a zombie, Oliver starts, but Cyborg explains that the creatures are a blight, an extension of the anti-life equation. The blighted ones want to spread death, nothing more, he tells them. Oliver calls out to Hawkgirl, who suddenly drops out of the sky from above them, her wings blackened and singed. Wonder Woman grabs her, asking what happened. Captain Atom, she tries to tell them. He turned and he's going to blow. In DC, Captain Atom continues to pulse her power. Superman and Wonder Woman speed forward, trying to stop him. They reach out, snagging the former hero in their arms. Superman, hold him! Wonder Woman screams as the radiation hits them both, but the hero suddenly erupts, the blast catching them both, and it begins to spread outward, destroying everything in its path. The survivors in the Daily Planet watch as the blast radius crawls towards them, Black Lightning reaching for his family, pulling them close. Close your eyes, he tells them. Hold on to me. And the light fills their world until that is all there is. Superman and Wonder Woman float over the remains of Washington, D.C., the city scorched, the smoking landscape below them. Metropolis. Superman whispers, and the two take off at top speed. The city passes beneath them, destroyed by the dying blast of Captain Atom. When they arrive in the city, though, they find the remains of the Daily Planet, floating in a bright green ball. Clark reaches out, and within the orb, Lois presses her hand against her
There we
husband's.
go.
Suddenly,
Jesus Christ.
from below,
Easy, low here, boys. What business brings you? Iotarchus sirloins? I take it Tutsi has sent you. Thank you for your efforts, my friend. But I fear you are too late. The man for whom these steaks were meant to come to his wounds just moments ago. Pray do not despair. He feasts with Thal now, and Thal has seen the good in you this day. Dead, is he? You did a good thing, friend. No use fretting over the order in which things pass. What matters is that they do pass, and nothing that passes goes unseen by the gods. There's a graveyard just near Drybone. A lot of folk bring their dead and dying this far. Many just dump them here to spare themselves the trouble and the cost of a burial. This poor soul, at least, had family that rushed to his side. Count him lucky for that. 'Twas just his time to heed Thal's call. Best to let it go and move on. There's business what needs doing, plots, graves, embalming, tombstones. Nothing in life is free, not even death. Pretty dour. Tutsi of Camp Drybone has a deed for a daring adventurer. Back for more, are you? Good. Now this riddles me, this. In a camp such as ours, so close to a graveyard. What do you think sells faster than we can stock? Aye, flowers. To the east here lie the remains of an enormous Gubu. And so many plants spread around that you think you'd found the black shroud in the middle of Thanolon.
Some say the good boo came down from the mountains, and at the time of the calamity, and carried with them the seeds that became all these plants. But then, all I'm really after are 3 sprigs of Althic lavender. Seems simple enough, right? You say that. Luo of the Gold Bazaar wants the vandalous imps terrorizing her dig site to be put down. I thought the miners were hard and rugged souls. I had no idea they could be so craven. You look like someone who could handle himself. Care to kill some pests for Lalathalian, lady? I'm supposed to be leading a dig among the ruins east here for mithril deposits. But once the miners I hired saw the vandalous imps in the area, they all turned tail and fled. Slay some of the bloody buggers for me, would you? 4 dead imps should keep the others away, and put the miners' minds at ease. Where's that damn tuku meat I asked Caitlin to bring? It won't be long before my patrons arrive. Caitlin has sent you? Excellent. This is more than enough tuku meat. Some miners have come to stay at the bazaar while they prospect the area for mithril deposits. They value quantity over quality, so I'll be serving them a feast of this piss-poor meat. By the by, please don't tell me Caitlin is still standing at the same spot in Drybone, sending adventurers to slay out mongrels. I told her no number of mongrel pelts or heads would bring my brother back to us. I've moved on with my life. It's past time she did the same. Benegir of the Golden Bazaar needs help finding help. How in the hells can you be wandering about without aught to do? There's an opportunity here at the Golden Bazaar as there hasn't been in years. I speak of the massive mithril deposit, of course. The miners I fed before are only the beginning. More and more of them will flock here in the coming week. Mark my words. Until now, we've been nothing more than a small settlement. But now, the sky's the limit. And in for the mithril miners to come would be worth a fortune. Mark my words. And I mean for that fortune to be mine. The problem I've had is that I need bodies to help me build the inn, but I can't seem to find any who are willing. I've drawn up these hiring notices, hoping they might help. Would you mind helping to get me started by fiving them up in prime locations? So, it seems a little beneath me, but sure.
Voice calls out, reaching Superman's ears. Superman! Lex calls. The Man of Steel floats down to his greatest enemy. His eyes burning with anger. Lex, by Rao, have you so much as... He snarls, but Lex holds up his hands, offering a truce with his former enemy. I'm not here to... Lex begins, but he can't finish as he falls to his knees. Look what happened to our city. Tears in his eyes. Days pass and the heroes work to stop the spread, with Flash taking out the internet, speeding around the globe, destroying all of the servers. In space, Diana works to take out every major broadcasting device, her sword destroying the floating satellites. Next, she heads to Themyscira, where she convinces her mother to open up the island to the survivors of the world. We're supposed to be their protectors. It is time that we offered protection here, she tells them. With her agreement, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Mara use their powers to lift more of the sea floor, creating more landmass on Amazon Island. In Gotham, the jungle grew around the city, walling it off against the infection. Dinah, Damien, and Oliver arrive, hoping to convince Poison Ivy to accept more refugees in her jungle safe haven. Let me do the talking, Damien tells him, clad in his bat suit. Are you sure you're not exactly a people person? Oliver asks. Ivy's not exactly people. Suddenly there's a roar behind them, and the creature that was once Killer Croc leaps from the bushes. Arrows and batarangs fly, but it is the vines that pierce his flesh, which finally end the monster. The vines then circle the heroes, but Damien orders his friends not to hurt the plant.
You've posted all 5. You're at 12 Zen. But I truly don't want to let this chance pass by. Here, take 5 more hiring notices and see them straight to the hands of whatever folk you see loitering about.
Good call, bad boy. Harley smiles as the gate opens to reveal her and Poison Ivy. Why are you here? Why is Robin dressed as a tiny Batman? Ivy asks, pulling Damien closer.
Carpenters?
Batman's gone.
Thank the gods. I'd be afraid
The
there
two
might
villains
be not
look
but mining
surprised.
jobs here. It's my vocation, to be sure, but a man needs some variety now and then. I'll go have myself a word with this vinegar feller. I'm bored out of my gourd. Is there no work to be had in this godforsaken place? Vinegar's looking for able bodies, is he? I've done some woodworking in my day. Might be as he'll have some uses for me.
Now, I don't have a moment to talk about that. Wait, what's this then? Hiring hands to build a new inn, well, that's bloody welcome news. I came here after hearing there might be mithril in these parts, but the inn's all full and I've been living out of a tent. Suppose I could lend a hand building inns till I start digging mines. What is it? Can't you see I'm busy? Vinegar needs work done, does he? Seen more miners in the bazaar of late. I reckon that's got something to do with it. Rumor is that there's mithril on the ground around here. Wonder if there's any truth to it. What's this now? Letters. Never learned them. Can't you just read it to me? Vinegar's building a new inn? No doubt to accommodate all the new people coming to the bazaar in recent days. Taking advantage of the new foot traffic is a right fine idea. Oh, I have no intention of helping Vinegar, of course. But perhaps there's even greater profit to be had in stocking up the food stores. Got to read what he said. Well done, Rex. Thanks to you, I have a feeling I'll have the hands to see my inn built. I was in a dark place after my brother died, but now I'm going to breathe life back into this bazaar. There's work to be done, Rex, and you haven't let me down so far. Don't start now. A miner recently came from Imagina and Sons wants a sample of the stone from the eastern ruins. I have the mind to give him 5 slabs of cloud marble from the invisible city, and I need you to get them. Showing these to him would nigh guarantee a continued influx to miners of the bazaar. Well, I think that's going to do it for me today. It's a shorter one today, but hopefully next week I'll be back on track, you know, getting started a little earlier. But you know,
until then, thanks for hanging out, whether you watch now or later. I had a lot of fun as usual. Glad I got stuff to work today, you know? But until next time, wherever you are, whenever you are, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.
A man from afar riding the temporal gale, Ronin by name and a Ronin by fate. In the tapestry of time, he's got a date. He ain't just saving, he's exploring the rift. In the timelines he travels, he's given a lift. Seeking tech and secrets in a world that's gone astray. Ronin's the man who's gonna find a way. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms with you dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. From a future so bright to our present so bleak, he's the silent watcher, the tech he does seek. Not just a savior, but a seeker of lore. Ronin's the key to what we're looking for. Through the ruins and the relics, he's making his mark. A beacon of hope in the timeline so dark. With every secret he finds, every piece he retrieves. He's crafting a future nobody believes. Ronin Vector, with a vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin Vector, forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legend's inscribed. Ronin Vector, the man who defied. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms with you dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. Ronin Vector, with a vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin Vector, forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legend's inscribed. Ronin Vector, the man who defies.